Did you say duck? Hello, Eugene. Are you people ready? They're always ready at Autzen. They're Ducks, bowing their necks for a Pac-10 top 10 showdown with Stanford Conference and perhaps national title implications in store. Kirk Herbstreit joins us now from the throng site of College Gameday there in Eugene. I'll tell you what, that crowd behind you is showing some emotion and fire. Finally, let's get to this game. Stanford, we know they can run the ball, they can pass the ball. So what happens when the Cardinal line up against the Oregon defense?
Well, I think that one of the things about this game is that Oregon has a lot of speed. And when they play in front of these fans and they play in this stadium, Autzen Stadium at night, they really have an advantage as far as the flat-out speed and emotion of the game. So I think if you're Stanford, you've got to try to control things, try to keep the ball away from Darren Thomas, do the best that you can, because this Oregon defense is flying around right now and making big-time plays. Now, I know last week you could say Arizona State put some numbers up, but again, it's a different set of circumstances because of what's happening in this environment. And then on offense, I really think that on the other side of the ball, if you're Stanford, you've got to come up and try to contain LaMichael James. And if you do that, it's going to put the ball into the hands of Darren Thomas to make big plays. But you see the numbers from last year, everything that these teams have been able to do this year. This is going to be potentially a shootout, although both teams' defenses think that they've improved drastically from a year ago when it was a shootout.
In Oregon right now, it is dark, it is early, and it's loud. Yeah. This is happening,
David, can we get a shot of you doing this? Can we get you to do this all the way back from Bristol? Can you give the O for the fans
like
here?
That?
Do it. There it is. There it is. They've been here since 2 or 3 in the morning, so it's the least we can do.
I feel like I've lost some of my journalistic integrity, but that's okay. Hey, Kirk, we'll see you guys in a little bit. Have fun.
All right. So they are rocking in Eugene. Stanford-Oregon still out of the way. We're counting down to College Gameday. 9 a.m. on ESPNU Eastern Time. Of course, 10 a.m. Eastern right here on ESPN.
I got to say, I am impressed by the good people of Eugene, the University of Oregon. Look at, they're flashing the O. It's very, very early out there. It's before 6 o'clock local time in Oregon, and they are fired up. College Gameday coming up in just a couple moments, and you're on ESPN. They are fired up on the campus of the University of Oregon. This Top 10 showdown. Number 9, Stanford, and number 4, Oregon. The College Gameday crew on campus right there near Autzen Stadium in the dark, getting ready for them.
In Eugene, Oregon. Oh, my God, they are out here in big numbers, in force, early. An hour and change before dawn. Kickoff 11 hours away to the first ever collision between Stanford and Oregon. While both teams are ranked the driver's seat in the Pac-10 at stake today. Autzen Stadium, one of college football's most ear-splitting venues, racing for a very significant Pac-10 collision under the lights tonight. In 11 hours to kick off, they are ready here in Eugene, Oregon. At the beginning of the season, a month ago, there were no Pac-10 teams ranked in the top 10. Now, Oregon and Stanford have climbed into position to be national title contenders. And, of course, a Rose Bowl race very much in play here tonight. They began storming the barricades 3 hours ago. They're not complacent. They're ready for this game. Chris Fowler, Lee Corso, Kirk Herbstreit, Desmond Howard, Aaron Andrews will join us on ESPNU for the next hour. We shift over to ESPN, of course, in about an hour from now. Big day around the country. Major heavyweight slugfest in Tuscaloosa, Florida, and Alabama. The Red River rivalry in Texas. In all, guys, we've got 5 matchups of ranked versus ranked games, plus games like Miami and Clemson, which come along at noon Eastern time. What is something you need to know? What do you?
Well, I'm looking forward to seeing which defense in this game can stop the opponent defense. Just one time. Yeah, just one time, and they might win the game.
What if the answer is none of the above? They scored 93 points combined last year. Most intriguing storyline today, do you think?
I think it's Michigan State's coach, Mark D'Antonio, returning. suffered a mild heart attack 2 weeks ago, spent some time in the hospital. It's going to be good to see him back in action. Now, he's going to be coaching from the press box. It's going to be a tough game. They play Wisconsin today, which is going to be a huge Big Ten matchup for them. But it's good to see Coach Mark D'Antonio back in action after suffering that mild heart attack, guys.
I really think his team will rally around Dino being in the press box. I think that'll be really a good scene.
Last week, you know, not one team in the top 25 lost. Only one team lost.
One.
Texas. Man, now not this week. There's going to be somebody in the top 25 lose, and it could be Oregon. They play a tough team.
They do play a good team. There's some here, if you listen to the radio, there's a lot of people doubting the Ducks, right? You turn on the talk radio here, you know, top 5, 4 double-digit wins. They're still fearful of the tree tonight here. I think there's a lot of people. Not these students, maybe.
Oh, yeah.
But Stanford has gotten people's attention here. This is a terrific, compelling matchup tonight on an excellent day of college football. If you're watching on SportsCenter, we'll send you back now to David Lloyd. And, of course, if you're on ESPNU, we'll be rolling on to the top of the hour. Aaron Andrews will come back.
Well, Kirk, this is what they do to have fun on campus here at Oregon. Getting some aggression out. Absolutely. And
might as well, huh?
Yeah, you put the challenge out there. You made me do it on Twitter last night. You said, what did Fowler say? Don't get blasé.
Fowler said, he used blasé. I said complacent.
Complacent. Well, a lot of these fans, oh no, they were camping out 7 p.m. last night.
They got your game face on.
Yeah, that's when you had your jammies on.
Yeah,
you were out there camping out. Absolutely.
It's going to be a hostile environment here.
Hey, reminder fans to log on to ESPN.com, search Pick'em to play College Pick'em, presented by Chevrolet Cruise, and stay tuned for the Saturday selections later on in College Game Day. 5 ranked versus ranked matchups, and you're going to break down some guys in that game that, you said they're kind of under the radar, but they need to have big games.
Yeah, I mean, you always get the big, high-profile names in these big games, but I like to look for guys that have a chance to step up, be factors in this game. Oregon and Stanford, my man Jeff Mayo.
That gets him going.
Yeah, it does. Number 23, one of the best receivers in the country. He's bigger, he's faster, he's all over the field, he's involved in kickoff coverage, but the most important thing tonight is when he's isolated in man-to-man coverage against Stanford, number 23's got to make Stanford pay for that to help Darren Thomas out.
We'll see if this crowd is awake when I tell you to pick the first game. It's out in Corvallis. Wake up. I should be louder than that. Arizona State taking on the Oregon State Beavers. And Kirk, right now we don't have word if James Rogers is actually going to play in that game. We saw him get that head injury last week at Boise State. But what do you like in that matchup?
Well, I think first you got Ryan Katz, who's still trying to improve as a quarterback, and I think he's got tremendous upside. Oregon State, I think, is happy to finally get back home. They played some tough games early. But Arizona State has surprised me. They really have. With the way they played last week against Oregon, great defense, they're physical, and I think Stephen Threet's made enough big plays to give their offense a chance. I like Arizona State to upset Oregon State.
See Lane Kiffin's old school, a team that Oregon took out to the woodshed a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
Well, as we take a look at the Cheez-It Real fan cam, fans twittering me all this morning starting at 1 a.m. showing me pictures of how they went straight from wherever they were late last night, straight out here to cheer the guys on for College Game Day. Very glad everybody came out, even though it was a early start. All right, with all the huge matchups today, Kirk and Des will tell you which ranked teams have the biggest question marks surrounding them, and a loss at the Cotton Bowl would be devastating to either Texas or OU. But find out why losing a different battle today couldn't be worse for them. Autzen Stadium. Kirby, how loud have you heard it there doing a game?
I think it's one of the loudest environments that you're going to see in college football. And you look at the stadium on the inside, you wouldn't think it would be that loud, but I'm telling you, it is hostile. Plus, you got the duck.
What duck? I don't know what you're talking about. What do you mean? I've heard about the duck.
I'm telling you, this is the best mascot in college football.
I just want to see the biceps. Come on, because you've done all these push-ups from this potent offense here at Oregon, and he gave you a treat.
Yeah, he gave me something here. Go to CapitalOneBowl.com and vote for the duck.
All right.
All right?
All right. Well, we're going to see you later, Duck. We got some work to do. Sorry, no love for the duck. He's taking Desmond's spot.
Yeah.
All right. So we're going to break down a few things with you right now. Team, with the biggest question mark, what do you think besides the Ducks? You can't be involved.
I think the Ducks going to have to be able to be ready to go tonight because Oregon's defense has got it coming off a game where they got up some big yards against Arizona State. The one thing that they were able to do is create turnovers. So Oregon's defense, I think, is excited. They're back home in front of their fans. They're ready to play better football than they played a week ago. But I think the big thing was they were able to create 7 turnovers. That's so important for their ability to get the ball back to Darren Thomas. Tonight, I think it's going to be a much tougher night to be able to move the ball that consistently for Stanford's offense.
And what did we hear yesterday about Oregon's defense? Don't blink. Don't be fooled. People are interested to see what they have against Stanford.
Absolutely.
All right, so most explosive player right now. Who do you have your eyes on?
I think the most explosive player, arguably in the country, is LaMichael James from Oregon. And I think LaMichael James has a chance tonight, if he can get in base, to really make some plays. Stanford is a 3 defense. Stanford has not given up any big plays all year. That's kind of become the real strength of their defense. LaMichael James, when he gets out in space, is as tough as anybody in the country. And he's coming off a game where he was held under 100 yards and held to 3.2 yards a carry. It's his lowest in his career. So you got to think he's kind of caged up and ready to come out and ready to play.
We saw him last night at the hotel, and you said you're ready to see a freak. Look at this freak right here. What do you like about this guy?
I just love his jump cut, his lateral quickness, his ability to get upfield. He's a perfect fit for Chip Kelly's offense. And Kenyon Barner, who comes in for him, number 24, almost identical as far as the strengths of it. But I give LaMichael James an edge based on the experience of playing in this offense.
And he doesn't like the crust on his grilled cheese sandwich. We saw that in his little lunch pail. Well, we know who these Duck fans think have the best conference. Who do you think?
You know, I think the SEC, I bow down to the SEC every year, but when you take Georgia and Tennessee out of the equation, I think you have to say right now the Pac-10 and what the Pac-10's been able to do gives them the strength of the best conference in the country. Nobody has a chance to see them typically, but the big wins that they've had, Oregon going to the heart of the SEC against Tennessee, Arizona being able to knock off Iowa. Last week, UCLA going to Austin, Texas, and dominating them. We don't even include what USC's doing right now. It's almost like they're a forgotten team in this conference. So right now, I think the top 5 teams of the Pac-10 give them an edge.
SEC fans not going to be happy about that. When do you think the Pac-10 kind of jumped the SEC in best conference?
I think you always judge it week to week, and I think the SEC, it's almost like every year they're the heavyweight champion. But I'm telling you, when you take the big dogs away from the SEC, it's still the premier conference. But I think you can make a case for the Pac-10.
Chip Kelly saying they are loaded in the conference, and I don't know if these fans are loaded, but they're very excited to get this going. We're going to send it back out to Brittle. Jonathan, take it away. A chance to look at 2 of the more potent offenses in college football. That's when Oregon and Stanford take the field. And like we just showed you on ESPNU, have a chance to see 2 dynamic quarterbacks in college football. Dari Noka is standing by.
All right, Aaron, good morning to you. I love game day when it's still in the dark. This is the 2nd week in a row. Boise last week, Eugene this week. Look at the Oregon crowd. We'll get back there. By the way, again, Newton, Robinson, Nesbitt, all on ESPNU today. My goodness, they are fired up early. 10.5 hours from game time in Eugene. Meanwhile, another big game. They're fired up in Dallas right now. OU, Texas, big on the field, but as Tom Luganville tells us, this is a huge situation for those 11 Eastern time. And again, they are fired up early in the a.m. or late at night. I'm not sure which it is in Eugene, Oregon, as we send it back that way. And Aaron Andrews.
Okay, Dari, thanks so much. Hope you guys are awake in the studio because they are crazy here in Eugene. When we come back, Mark May, Lou Holtz help set the table up for the day. And coming up on game day at the top of the hour on ESPN, Oregon head coach Chip Kelly joins us live. I visit with Alabama quarterback Greg McElroy, and we'll hear from Matt Brown and Randy Shannon. Big matchups for those 2 coaches today. Game day. Welcome back to Eugene. You see those fans in the front row there? They've been camping out since 7 p.m. yesterday. Still 20 minutes to sunrise and just 10 hours until kickoff between the Ducks and the Cardinals tonight on ABC. Don't forget, those of you who can't see the game on ABC can check it out tonight on ESPN2. Don't forget, after College Game Day here on ESPNU, Sports Nation will follow us. And then if you want to catch the guys from College Game Day, flip it over to ESPN. Now stay right here because we're going to send it over to Ryan Burr back in the studio. Ryan. All right, Ryan, thanks. As you can see from our Cheez It Real fan cam, the Duck faithful are out in full force. They've been camping out since 7 p.m. last night. They're ready to go. Coach Des Kirk They're all gearing up for the next 2 hours, so don't go to sleep on us, Duck Faithful. Be sure to flip over to ESPN right now to hear which top 10 teams the guys have on upset alert. Oregon coach Chip Kelly joins us live on the set, and I visit with Alabama quarterback Greg McElroy. Right now on ESPNU, it's Sports Nation. Enjoy the first Saturday in October.